which is more accurate, this or this? Today we're going to find out. At the official 1 year mark since I restarted endurance training, I decided to do some VO2 Max and blood lactate testing. So 1 year ago, I bought this bike, built it up, and started my endurance training journey again. After about 3 years, very intermittently on and off the bike. This is close to the fittest I have ever been on the bike. The Apple Watch, as well as the Garmin, and quite a few other devices make a VO2 Max estimate based off of heart rate and fitness results. The thing is, the Apple Watch only uses walking and running results to make this estimate. And as I haven't been seriously running in about 4 months, that number has slowly ticked down. So I wanted to see how that estimate compared to my real numbers, especially on a bike. So if you're unfamiliar, VO2 Max is the volume of oxygen that you can process, transport to your muscles. But I will let them explain that to you in more detail at the lab. All right, let's go ahead and head to the lab, get strapped in, and start testing.
The benefits of the VO2 is, in my opinion, it's going to just give you a broad idea of your natural ability to uptake and utilize oxygen. That's a key value for any athlete, and so it's not something that I would recommend you use as a complete limiter, and it's also not something that I would recommend you use as a golden goose egg for elite performance. There are other factors that come into play with regard to performance, but VO2 Max is one of the measurements that gives you an idea of what your endurance potential could be. Combined with the lactate threshold, determining how quickly your body processes lactic acid, how efficient you are at processing it. The combination of those two are better performance determinant than just one or the other individually. What the main thing that you'll be able to get from our tests today are a real accurate idea of the zones that you should be training in. And so if you were to say that what's the main benefit to you, accurate zones. Instead of guessing or just going by heart rate, we can have some solid data to determine your zones.
So it's definitely recommended to do both together?
Both together, yeah.
You're not getting nearly as much data with just the VO2 test alone, stuff like that. Yeah. What's the general idea of the protocol today that we're going to go through?
So first we're going to get you ramped up. There are two ramp ups. The first one, we're going to ramp you up to get you to your and measure your VO2 max. You're going to be wearing the mask. It's going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be sweat blowing all over the place, snot, a lot of it. And so once we've done that, there's a recovery, and then we start measuring your lactic acid. And so that's a little bit calmer. We don't take you to the same intensity, but it is a second ramp. So two measurements. One is VO2 max measurement. One is your lactic acid, and coming in two parts.
If you're interested in VO2 Max testing, feel free to reach out, leave a comment if you have any questions. With these two tests, as a coach, when would you recommend one of your athletes to take these?
Yeah, so the blood lactate for sure, at least once every 12 months. VO2, typically in reality, I like to use that more as like a calorie orienter, right? Like how much do we need to be replacing like during and after training sessions? And so that really depends on the athlete, right? So like, do we feel like we've got things really dialed in on the nutrition side, or do we feel like we're maybe missing an opportunity there and we'd like to understand that a little bit better? In terms of actually changing the decisions we're making in training, that is my favorite way to use VO2, but blood lactate for sure at least every 12 months, but every 6 months if you can.
45. Yeah, 150. 155, 160, 165, 170, 175, 180, 185, 190, 195, 196, 197, 198, 199, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, 176, 177, 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185, Push to get 190. Push. Oh, you're running out of gears. Yeah.
You're going to have to pedal faster.
Yeah. And push. You need to get that maximum effort.
All right, highest cadence you've got for like 45 seconds. There you go.
Thing that was like, you want this one? This one. Okay. Down like that. There you go. That's it. You're watching how quickly it goes down.
Yeah, that's on the thing. Stop pedaling. That pedal as easy as you can. And then once it says, yep, you're going to take the mask off with him, and that will probably help bring the heart rate down. Perfect.
Well, I didn't see anything much higher than 61.
I saw a 62.
Yeah, I think there was a 64.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah. We'll see what it takes the highest minute average, so we'll see what that was. Again though, like, if the goal is domestic road racing, the VO2 is really not the holy grail.
Yeah.
Like VLA Max, like there's a lot of other things now that we understand are as important, if not more important.
Okay, stop pedaling, same finger. Okay, jump that. Can go down like that. Okay. Stop pedaling and let's get your another chance for this. Stop pedaling.
Yeah. Do you want me to add? Yeah. We're looking for our definition of OBLA. Okay. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it.
Looking at the results, my VO2 max came out to 63.4. And to recap, my Apple Watch estimates it at 60.9, which is actually surprisingly accurate. A 63.4 VO2 max does technically put me in the superior range, though those ranges are based on the general population and not endurance athletes. So that is a little bit low compared to what I wanted, as the average elite cyclist probably has a VO2 max somewhere in the high 60s to lower 70s. As opposed to what was previously thought, VO2 max is slightly trainable though, so we can expect to see some results moving forward as I get more fit. My lactate threshold came back as 310, which really closely matches my most recent 20-minute test at 308. So those 2 watts had come down to just pacing or feeling different on the day. The biggest surprise for me was my heart rate zones, which according to the blood lactate test have been set a little low for the past year. A little low is better than a little high to prevent overtraining, but this does mean that I can go a little harder on my endurance rides and hopefully reap a little bit more benefit from them. Overall, I'm very happy with how this testing went. It shows that I have a lot of space to improve, but it also shows that the work I've been doing for the past 6 months and the past year is really starting to pay off. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe.